And I'm just giving you a quick talk about 2021 and letting it go so that you can start 2022 with a clean slate. Okay, so we want to go through a process of eliminating what hasn't worked for you and what has worked for you, just letting it all be whatever it was, so that you can move into 2022 with a sense of completion and a blank slate, and you're not carrying the past into the future. Okay, now this is something you could do every single day, at the end of the week, especially on a Sunday night, and take a look and go, well, this is what happened. And this is where I am, and these are the wins. These are the great things that happen, and then and celebrate those wins. Really take it to heart. You're going to acknowledge yourself for the wins, and because we're in such a state of transformation right now and a paradigm shift, which we're right in the middle of, there's a lot going on in the consciousness. And often we start to judge ourselves about that, and we think we're bad, we're wrong, this shouldn't be the way it is. And you feel very, very challenged by what's happening. And it's because we're on this path to awaken, to free our minds, to be more powerful, and to let go of what doesn't work for us anymore. Okay. Now, my whole program, everything I do is all about transformation. It's all about you coming into the power of your own mind to create the life you love. Okay. And how you do that is by going deep enough into the work that you need to do, where you have been holding back, where maybe you don't see it yet, like what it is that's holding you back. And you've got to take a look. So this is all about really assessing what's going on in your life, being willing to see what isn't working and being really honest about it with yourself, and seeing that once you've admitted that. And I do a lot of journaling with this, guys. At the end of the year, I'm like constantly journaling, writing down, this worked, this didn't work, this is what I want next. Okay. And so this is all about that. And I want to share this with you because in the programs I'm doing, we just did it last night in the mastermind, was to really look at all these areas of your life. And I'm going to give you 7. Okay. 7 areas. So if you take this to heart and you really do this deep work, it's going to create a big shift in your life for the future. Okay. And it's going to take a little bit of time, but I'm not going to do it. I'm probably going to spend maybe 10 minutes with you on this so that you get what you need to do. And then you just do it on your own, and then come back to me and tell me how it's gone. Okay. The key is not to judge yourself for anything that happened or didn't happen in this past year. The key is to be wide open to seeing what worked for you, what didn't work for you, and what you want next. Okay. The important thing is not to judge yourself. Don't judge yourself for what happened or didn't happen. This has been a very chaotic year. It's been a very challenging year for everyone on this planet. Okay. And most of us have had huge wins and huge losses. And that's why we're in this big paradigm shift. Or that's because we're in a paradigm shift, right? Which means we're coming out of this us and them, this narrative of right and wrong, and there's all this upheaval in the consciousness and on social media of everybody having their opinions, and it's all really kind of wild, right? It's kind of a chaotic mess if you look at it. But from a spiritual standpoint, it's like, yeah, this is finally happening. Like the human mind is starting to really look at itself and ask, what is it I really want to create for my life? What kind of life do we want to live on planet Earth? And who are we? Who are we as we go forward? Okay. So here are the 7 areas of your life I want you to take stock in. And don't try to do it all at once. This is going to take probably a couple of hours for you to really do this process. But the first is to look at, I would suggest, first looking at your spirituality. What kind of spiritual program are you working with? Do you have a practice? Is it consistent? Are you doing it every single day? Okay, now this is where I come in, because I'm a spiritual teacher and I've been teaching Course in Miracles for so long that if I don't have that in place, I am so out of alignment right away. So having that in place and knowing what you're committed to and have in terms of your spirituality is really important. That would be the first thing. So in connection with yourself, in harmony with yourself, and a clarity of what your purpose is with your spiritual development. Okay. knowing what that is, having it clear. Where did you win at that this year? And where do you still want to expand, right, for next year? Okay, take a look at your spirituality. That would be the area number one. Area number two is your finances. Okay, what part of your finances is working? What part of it is not working? Are you still in fear about money? Are you still blah 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 blah? Have you worked on your debt? If you have debt, are you working on passive streams of income? Are you opening up to miracles in your life with money? Okay, now that's, and and are you really being careful? Are you taking care of it? All right, and grade yourself. Like, well, I did this and I did that, and I still have more to do. Okay, no judgment. Do not beat yourself up about it, and don't go into guilt, because money is a very emotional topic for everybody. We don't even want to talk about it. The moment we start talking about it, it's like, oh, my throat gets all weird, and I almost like swallow my words, because it's a very difficult area of our lives where we've associated with fear, money with fear for so long, that now we're coming out of that. Okay, we want to create a healthy relationship with money. We want to have a friendship with money, rather than a worrying, like, how do I do this, and being out of control with that. Okay, so your powerful financial life, how to become more powerful in your financial life. So take a look, write down what you want, write down what you want to eliminate, what's not working. Okay, a couple minutes on that. Third thing is home. How do you feel about your home, where you live? Is it harmonious? Does it feel good to you? Have you cleaned out your closets? Okay, and this time of year is a great time to eliminate stuff, get stuff out of your closets, and clean up your environment. Okay, especially for the holidays, because your family will love you if you do. If you take better care of yourself, and the family environment will shift, and the energy of the family will shift if you take care of, like, throwing stuff out that is no longer useful to you. Okay, I did this recently, and it just made me feel so happy to have my environment all cleaned out. Right, I can think better, I can work better, I can be more focused. If you have all these things everywhere, you've got a lot of clutter, it's always pulling your attention away from where you need to focus. All right, so that's your environment. Third, your emotional life. Okay, what are your emotions like? Have you been in your emotions a lot, just swirling around in them, and not feeling released, and not feeling like you're getting beyond the pain, or the worry and the fear of the past, okay, or the future? Because you could be worrying and creating that whole paradigm of worry, which we're coming out of. We've got to give up worry. We're creating our future. That's why it's different from the past. We're creating it. There's no sense of worrying about it, because that's bringing your fear and placing it into the future, and you're sequencing time as though it's sequential, and it isn't. Okay, so don't do it, but look at how you do that. How much time do you spend worrying about what's coming, right? Instead of just seeing where you are right now, letting yourself be with your emotions right now, feeling them, being accepting of them, and really living through them, working through them, processing through them. And why is that important? Because the emotional part of you is really important. We live in our emotions a lot, and there's nothing wrong with that. It really isn't. It's just that you don't want your emotions to be necessarily guiding you, right? Wow, there's a lot of energy in that for me. You got to pay attention to your emotions, embrace them, be open to receiving information about, why am I so upset today? What am I upset over? And what is that saying to me? What do I need to deal with that I haven't dealt with? Okay, and now it's going to tie into the next topic, which is relationships. Okay, my emotions are all stirred up over this situation. Well, there's people involved in situations. It's not just you, right? It's you involving other people. And in that situation, you can actually solve that problem, but you've got to go deep enough within yourself to admit to where you find yourself. All right, that's a really important point, and I teach this in the Course in Miracles program that I have. It's how to bring your power into your relationships, and know that you can take responsibility for that relationship and communicate what you need and what you desire and what you're afraid, maybe what you're afraid to say even. Okay? It's a big one for me. I have to speak up a lot and say things I'm really uncomfortable saying. And I've had to really work through a lot of that because I wasn't taught to do that as a kid. Okay? And I was taught to be quiet. And I had a big family, so I had a lot of chaos around me. And when I go to express myself, I often get very emotional, like, oh my God, I don't dare to say this. And my fear comes up. And that's okay. That's normal. It's normal to be afraid to be yourself and to be vulnerable with people. But it doesn't mean to let that stop you. It means you got to grow into it. You got to open up and let go of your own fear by doing it even with fear. Okay? And I'm really challenged by that sometimes. And I know because a lot of us have trauma from our past, from maybe speaking up and not getting a good result. Okay? And be aware that that's okay. That now, you might need to do some work on that with a healer or coach. That's what I do, a lot of that deep work with people. But I want you to get that you have the power to do that yourself, to face what you're afraid of, and to move forward in spite of your fear. Because I promise you, if you're holding on to it from the past, from a story that you're continuing to tell, there's a way to move through that pretty quickly and really be in your element, like in your power about it. Okay? Because you actually have power over that. You have power over the past. You have power over the future. You have all power. And if you don't realize that, take a look at some of my programs, because that's what I teach you to do, is to have power in your life in all these aspects. All right, so those are your relationships. And then fun and adventure. What about fun? Have you had fun this year? What kind of adventures did you have? What kind of expansion did you have in your fun and joy and creating a life that you love? All right, what did you hold back? Did you not go away or go on vacation? Maybe you were struggling with something and it didn't allow you to take that time for yourself. You can always take time for yourself though, even when things are tough, even when you may have been struggling with finances or not having a job or not being able to make the money you thought you would make. Like all of that stuff can be undone, but you got to take a look at it, take stock. Okay. All right. So fun and adventure. Let's make sure you put that in in the chopper, because we really want you to have fun, right? What's the point of living a life if you're not having fun? Okay. The seventh thing is most important to me right now, and not most important, but very important, is business. How's your business going? What kind of wins did you have this year? Celebrate those wins. Celebrate all the milestones. Celebrate the things that really are working in your life. And where did you break through patterns of the past? Okay, maybe you're really focused right now on what you need to create for the future, and maybe you're not. But that is something to really take a look at in your business life, your career and business. Okay. What collaborations have you put together? Where have you expanded in your business? Where have you expanded in your life? Okay. And, what kind of expansion can you create for the future? So let's just take stock of last year, of 2021 though, and write it all out. This might take a few hours to do all this, but it really will serve you in creating a future that you truly love and know that you have power over, that you have the power to create a life you totally want to live. Okay. Deep breath. So we're going to look at the wins. We're going to look at what's still there to create. And all of this is going to churn. I mean, I can already feel it in my throat. There's energy there that I haven't dealt with yet. And I'm going to take a look at it after we're done and really look at, okay, why did that bring up so much in my throat chakra? Maybe there are things I needed to say to people that I didn't say. Maybe I didn't honor my feelings in a certain situation. And now I'm learning to do that more and more and more and more, right? Where did I not speak up? Okay. And for women especially, that's a tough one. It's often that we're not speaking up when we need to because we haven't been trained to. And maybe we're not negotiating enough for ourselves. Maybe we're being a little bit submissive about it. Where are you doing that? Okay. It's a tough one, but take a look. Where have I been submissive? Where have I let someone else dominate me? Where have I let someone else dominate? Where have I let my fear dominate me? Where have I let my past patterns of playing small dominate me? Okay. And I get that. This is something that we all have to look at. Where are we holding back? Where am I playing small in my life right now in the past 12 months? And maybe you haven't been playing small. Maybe you've been really bursting through these barriers, so-called barriers that you've put in place. Maybe you've really made great strides. Write all that down too. Be really, really celebratory, okay, of where you've really had some wins in your life. Okay, now I'll tell you a couple of my own. Like, I moved to this beautiful space that I'm so proud that I actually get to live here. I live on a lake in Orlando, in the middle of a city, with sunshine every day. It's extraordinary to me. I get to live here, and I moved here in February. So it's like, this has been a great year of expansion, and my home life reflects that. Okay, now, do I like it all the time? There's some parts of it that I like, and I love my neighborhood, but I do still, we're going to sneeze. Oh my goodness. I needed to look at that. So then there are some things I would like to change about my home. Okay. And I'll take a look at that this afternoon after I get off. Because that just came up as I was saying it. Well, there's still more to this. I want to create, maybe decorate more, maybe put into place some more art and more joy in my home life. Okay. So be aware that there's always more to improve. But when you take stock and you give yourself credit for what you've created, then you can move forward. All right. All right. I'm not going to do a lot more. I'm going to do this again in a couple of days because I want to talk more about this, especially now when it's at the year end and we have so much going on in our minds with the holidays and everything. Okay. So yeah, because the next step would be to create goals for 2022. And we need to do that as well, very powerfully. Okay, what do you want to feel at the end of 2022? What do you want to be proud of? We're going to get into that next time. But this part of taking a very powerful assessment of 2021 is really critical in order to create what you want for the next year. If you want to know more, look me up. And I am offering some programs that are coming up this year that are going to be super powerful, and they're very transformative. I'd love to tell you about them. All right, hope this helps you, and I totally look forward to next time. Bye for now.